Hello everyone, this is Dion Langley, Lupus Warrior, Lupus Advocate, coming again with another video to help my Lupus Warriors out. I try to post a video at least weekly, and try to just help out the Lupus Warriors as much as I can. Recently, it's been a lot of newly diagnosed people to have lupus, and I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of questions about, what do I do? I just got diagnosed with lupus. How do I deal with it? How do I cope with it? So I decided to do a video on it. And what I'll do is I'll do a 4-part series. It's 4 steps that I really want to put out to help the newly diagnosed lupus patients. So I'll make this a 4-part series video. So I'll do one, and then I'll add the other 3 later on as we continue with this series. So I'll go ahead and I'll jump right into it. This is for my newly diagnosed patients that have lupus. When you first get diagnosed with lupus, I'm sure it's probably the worst feeling ever. For me, it was so difficult because I didn't know what lupus was. I had no clue. I felt it was just a women's disease. It was something that man couldn't get. So I was totally unaware, uneducated. I was frustrated. I was disappointed, scared, because I just didn't know. Females, y'all probably had a more lighter experience, but at the end of the day, still it hit, probably the same way, because anybody that gets diagnosed with something that affects your body and affects your organs, it's definitely a tough pill to actually swallow. So females, your reaction may have been a little different, may not, but you all, I guess you're prone more to know about lupus than a man or males would. So I'm sure if your reaction was different, it's because females probably had some type of education or some type of knowledge about lupus. Men, we really don't have the education or knowledge. But at any rate, anyone that's newly diagnosed with lupus, anyone that just got diagnosed with lupus, this is my answer. And the first part that I want to really stress to you guys who recently got diagnosed with lupus, first off, you have to accept it. Acceptance is a big part in dealing with lupus. I'm going to say this again. You have to accept it. That's number 1. You have to accept it. Is it easy to accept? No. That goes for men and women. It's not easy to accept. When I was in that hospital bed and I was told that I had lupus, I didn't even want to accept it because I didn't know what lupus was. I didn't even try to figure out, why. But through all the frustration, through all the crying, through all the tears, through everything that I went through after they told me, and honestly speaking, it took me still another 3 years after I was diagnosed for me to really accept having lupus. Once I accepted it, it changed my mind. It changed my thought process. It changed the way I viewed lupus. It changed the way I went about dealing with my lupus. It changed the way I ate. It changed the way the bad habits that I had when trying to treat lupus. My whole care for it, my whole mindset, my whole demeanor about lupus changed. Only because I had to accept it. The hardest thing for people to do is to accept things that they really don't understand. That was my biggest fault. It was hard for me to accept having lupus, so I didn't want to understand it. It was hard for me to accept having lupus, so I didn't want to deal with it. It was hard for me to accept lupus. I didn't want to speak out about it. It was hard for me to accept lupus, so therefore I didn't get the proper treatment. I didn't take the time to educate myself on lupus because I didn't accept it. So I'm telling anyone that's recently diagnosed with lupus, you have to accept it. It's not easy. Definitely not easy. But in order to start a proper mindset, a proper physical approach, mental approach, a proper growth, any type of progression that you may have with lupus, it starts with you accepting it. I cannot stress that enough. Please, please, please put everything in your heart and your mind and just understand that you have to accept this. The only way you're going to deal with it and beat lupus, you have to accept it. I struggled for so long because I didn't accept it. I hid behind it. I didn't want to face reality that I had lupus. I didn't tell people about it. The only way you're going to begin to heal, the only way you're going to begin to do any type of progress, do any type of progression towards beating your lupus, you have to do step one, and that's accept it. So step one in this process is you have to accept having lupus. Along with anything you may do in life, whether good or bad, listen, you have to accept it. Lupus warriors, please, please do not try to hide behind it. Accept it. Once you accept it, you will begin to train yourself. It'll be automatic for you to understand and just know that your lupus will be better, but you have to accept it. You have to. You have to. You have to. I want you all to really take pride in accepting that you have lupus. When you accept it, you'll begin to process it out. I hope you all have paid attention to this video, and I want you all to understand that having lupus isn't easy. It's not. But I want you all to understand this too, that we can beat it. But first we have to accept it. And that's step one. We have to accept it. So this will wrap up my video for today. But I want you guys to go back, listen to this video. If you have any comments, please reach out to me. I can be reached at drumforlupus@gmail.com. That's drum, the number 4, lupus@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, #BeatLupus. You can look me up on the internet. Okay, reach out to me. My YouTube channel, reach out to me. We all in this together. So I'll put out the next 3 videos weekly. But this is step one, and step one is acceptance. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay blessed, and let's continue to beat lupus.